Let me ask you a question. How many of you have ever stood in a room full of people and still felt completely alone? Like the noise around you didn't match the silence inside your chest. Like you were screaming behind your eyes, but no one could hear a damn thing. Welcome to the club, pal. Bad things happen to you? Join the damn club. There's no membership card, just the scars you carry and the silence you learn to walk through. You're not special because you got left. You're not cursed because you walked out or your best friend ghosted you or your father never showed up. You're just awake now. Here's the truth, and you better let it burn into your bones. No one stays with you permanently. You think love guarantees permanence? You think loyalty is forever just because you gave your best? Wrong. People leave. Circumstances change. Promises break. And if you're building your identity, your drive, your life, on the shaky ground of someone else always being there to catch you, you're not building anything. You're waiting to fall. And when you do fall, the question is not who will catch me. The question is, can you get back up by yourself? Because let me tell you what makes a man. It's not the job title, not the woman on his arm, not the respect he gets in public. It's what he does when he's got no one watching, no hand to hold, and every damn reason to give up. When the room is empty and the lights are off, and all he hears is that inner voice whispering, "You're not enough." Do you stand or do you fold? The man who moves a mountain begins by carrying away small stones. Confucius, you want to build strength? Start carrying the stones life throws at you. Alone. Steve Jobs got fired from the company he founded. He didn't crawl into a hole. He didn't write a self-pity manifesto. He stood up, burned through the disappointment, and built again. Because real builders don't cry when someone takes away the blueprint. They draw a new one. Self-reliance is not a theory. It's a survival skill. And if you don't learn it, this world's gonna eat you alive and spit you out before you even hit 30. You see, the illusion that someone will always be there, that's the drug. It makes you soft. It makes you entitled. It makes you weak. The moment you swallow that pill, the moment you think someone owes you love, owes you presence, owes you anything, you give them the keys to your peace. And if you hand out your peace like that, don't cry when it gets stolen. Here's what I'm telling you. You need to become the kind of man that doesn't flinch when he's left alone. The kind of man that doesn't need applause to keep going. The kind of man who builds his peace like a fortress, not a house of cards. Discipline equals freedom. Jocko Willink. You want freedom from fear? Discipline your mind. Discipline your body. Discipline your expectations. No one's coming to save you. Let that settle in. Let it break your fantasy. Now build something real. Look, I'm not here to hold your hand. I'm not your therapist. I'm not your mother. I'm the guy who walks into the gym and tells you, either lift the weight or get out of the way. Don't ask me to play the game for you. If I do, what the hell do we need you for? And that's the point. You want to matter? Then be the man who shows up when no one else does. Be the guy who pushes forward without a cheering section. Be the guy who doesn't collapse just because it got quiet. The storm is the test. And I'm telling you, if you can't survive the silence, you'll never survive the battlefield. You must be willing to sacrifice who you are for what you will become. Eric Thomas. When your friends disappear, when your woman leaves, when your circle shrinks down to just you and the ceiling fan, that's not punishment. That's preparation. It's the world asking, are you man enough to walk alone until you don't have to? Because strength doesn't come from company. It comes from confrontation. You versus your excuses. You versus your fear. You versus the fact that no one is clapping while you grind. And if you can beat that, if you can show up day after day after day with no spotlight, no guarantee, and no one texting, you got this, bro, then, my friend, you're the kind of man the world can't break, because you've already been broken, and you kept going. You think you need people to stay to succeed? You don't. You just need to stay yourself. Unshaken, focused, relentless. The world's going to test you with silence, with betrayal, with abandonment. Let it. Use it. Because once you understand that no one stays with you permanently, you stop waiting for permission to live. You stop begging for company in the gym, at your job, in your dreams. You just start doing the damn work. You become the storm. There's something brutal about an empty chair. You know the one I'm talking about. That chair across from you at dinner. That chair in the audience when you thought someone would show up. That chair beside your bed when you're sick, broken, bleeding out emotionally, and nobody comes. But let me flip the script for you. That empty chair, it's not your punishment. It's your invitation. It's the universe removing the noise. It's God saying, now it's just you and me, son. Let's see what you're made of. Every man must walk through a season of solitude, not isolation. Solitude, the gym of the soul, where the weights are silence and the reps are self-discipline. You want to become something unstoppable? Then stop waiting for someone to sit in that chair. Stop refreshing your phone. Stop checking your DMs like validation is your fuel. Here's a hard truth. Most people only love you when it's convenient for them. They love the version of you that entertains them, that agrees with them, that gives more than it takes. But the moment you ask for something real, they vanish like smoke. That's not rejection. That's revelation. Now you see them for who they are. Now you see you for who you're becoming. He who has a why to live for can bear almost anyhow. Friedrich Nietzsche. What's your why, brother? Because if your why is built on her smile, his approval, their cheers, then when they disappear, so will your purpose. But if your why is built on becoming the man you were born to be, you'll grind in the dark with no audience. You'll train like a soldier even when there's no war in sight. You'll carry that weight alone and whisper, I got me, I always will. That's what separates men from boys. Boys chase attention. Men chase purpose. You're not meant to be fed by others. You're meant to feed others after you've learned how to feed yourself. Let me tell you a story. There was a fighter, grew up with nothing, no father. Mom worked 2 jobs. He learned to punch before he learned to read. Nobody clapped at his school awards. Nobody came to the games. You know what he did? He trained like the world was watching. When no one was, he told himself, they don't show up now, but one day they'll wish they had. Now, he's world champ. People chant his name. But he doesn't need it anymore, because the man he became in the shadows, that's the man who won. Stop craving applause. Start craving mastery. A man who needs to be seen is a slave to attention. But a man who becomes excellent in the dark, he's dangerous. He's focused. He's free. And listen, every empty chair in your life is a test. Will you fold or will you forge? There will be days when you'll look around and no one will believe in your dream. That's the cue. Believe harder. There will be nights when your mind says, "What's the point?" That's your trigger. Get up and prove it wrong. Because let me tell you something. The throne belongs to the man who didn't quit when it was quiet. Hard times create strong men. G. Michael Hopf, you're in those times. Right now. And it hurts. But pain is honest. Pain doesn't lie. Pain says, "This is your edge. Now grow." You thought you would stay forever? You thought they would always have your back? You thought loyalty was a contract? It's not. Loyalty is tested the moment you have nothing to offer. That's when the masks fall off. That's when the true ones reveal themselves. And most of them won't. That's fine. Let them go. Release the fantasy. Embrace the fire. Let solitude burn off your illusions. Look, I get it. It sucks. I've been there. Holding on to messages that don't get answered. Scrolling old pictures. Wondering if it was something you did. Spoiler, it wasn't. People don't stay because you're lovable. People stay because they're loyal. And not everyone is. You didn't lose them. They lost the future they could have had with man who was becoming unstoppable. Let them go. Now focus. You still breathing? Good. Then it's time to get dangerous. It's time to rise with scars, not excuses. Time to trade comfort for clarity. Every man faces this moment. Do I break here or do I build? Choose to build. Even if the bricks are made of heartbreak. Even if the mortar is made of tears. Build. Your life. Your strength. Your name. Because here's what nobody tells you. The man who learns to thrive without anyone becomes the man others can't live without. Be that man. So now what? You've accepted the truth. No one stays with you permanently. You've buried the illusions. You've tasted the solitude. Now comes the next phase. Now you build. But this time, you're not building for applause. You're not building to be followed. You're building because that's what real men do. Let me be real with you. A lion doesn't need a pack to know he's a lion. He hunts regardless. He rules regardless. He bleeds alone and roars anyway. That's you now. You've crossed a line where most men quit. Most give up when they get lonely. Most cave when they're misunderstood. But you stayed. You chose the hard path. You didn't run to distractions. You ran inward and came out stronger. And now, my brother, you are dangerous. Success is never owned, it's rented, and the rent is due every day. Rogan, you know why this hits different now? Because you paid the rent with your tears, with your silence, with the days you showed up tired, with the nights you wanted to quit. Now you don't just talk discipline. You live it. You don't just quote perseverance. You embody it. And guess what happens next? They come back. Oh, they always do. She'll message you when she sees the glow up. They'll hit you up when your name starts to matter. The friends who vanish will ask to grab coffee. The ones who ignored you will suddenly respect your hustle. But don't let the applause distract you from your mission. Remember, they didn't believe in you when it was quiet. They don't get to ride with you now that it's loud. Let your loyalty be earned, not given. A man is not measured by how many follow him, but by how long he keeps going when no one does. Lead in silence. That's what kings do. They don't beg for crowns. They don't shout their goals. They move quietly, daily, with discipline sharp as a blade. And that's the mark of a true man. Consistency without an audience. Let me say this, loud for the ones in the back. You don't need a crowd to be great. You need courage. You don't need affirmation. You need action. The world respects results. That's the language men speak. So produce, even when it's lonely, especially when it's lonely. Let's talk legacy. You see, most men live for the weekend, for dopamine, for likes, for cheap highs and soft pleasures. But the man you're becoming, he's thinking 10 years ahead. He's thinking of his name, his bloodline, his impact. He's building not just for today, but for eternity. Because great men aren't remembered for what they owned. They're remembered for what they carried. Pain, vision, discipline, responsibility. You carry these now. And the world? The world is starving for men like you. We are not born to sit back and watch. We are born to rise and lead. Let that sink in. The masculine soul is not called to comfort. It's called to conquest. Conquest of weakness, of chaos, of doubt. You are now a warrior of order, a builder of meaning. Not because someone stayed with you, but because you stayed with yourself. Your scars are not signs of weakness. They're signs that you went to war and didn't die. So wear them proudly. Let them see the fire in your eyes and the calm in your soul. Let them wonder, how the hell did he become so steady, so focused, so unshakable? Answer, because I lost everything and still didn't lose myself. Don't wait for someone to tell you you're ready. You are ready. The pain proved it. The solitude shaped it. The silence trained it. You are now the kind of man this world needs, but doesn't know how to ask for. You don't need to chase anyone. You don't need to beg. You don't need to explain. You simply need to be. Be solid. Be sharp. Be still in chaos. Be consistent in drought. Be excellent in shadows. And the world will come to find you, not because you shouted, but because you shined. You were never meant to be followed. You were meant to be forged. You were never meant to be soft. You were meant to be strong. And you were never meant to be surrounded. You were meant to be set apart. No one stays with you permanently. But now you know that's a gift, because what you build in solitude can never be taken from you.